Now, on display in Los Angeles, artifacts from the tomb of King Tut. Real ones, not replicas like this. John Blackstone takes us back to the days of the boy king.
In Los Angeles, at the California Science Center, the young are coming to marvel at the old. The very, very old. The treasures of King Tut, more than 3,000 years old and still gleaming.
Look at this decoration. They call it the wings of Horus.
Zahi Hawass, for years Egypt's most prominent archaeologist, helped organize this exhibit, including many objects from the tomb of King Tutankhamun that have never before left Egypt.
I think this is a masterpiece. The eyes, the black color of the statue, it shows fertility of the land of Egypt.
The school-age visitors may miss some of the symbolism, but the story of King Tutankhamun still fascinates.
King Tut was a boy king. He became king when he was 9 years old, and he died when he was 19. So children can identify with that.
Diane Perlov is Senior Vice President of Exhibits at the California Science Center.
And this was at the temple where people would come and they would give food offerings and that they would worship King Tut.
But the pharaohs who followed tried to wipe his name from this?
Yes, they wiped his name off the belt and they put their own name on instead. But they failed because now, of course, King Tut is the most famous pharaoh of all.
And yet, he wasn't a particularly significant king of Egypt, was he?
No, he was not. Actually, if his tomb was not found, maybe we'll write 3 lines about him.
But famously, his tomb was found by British archaeologist Howard Carter in 1922.
It was, and it remains, the richest pharaonic tomb found, and the only one that was found nearly intact.
More than 150 of the gleaming objects Carter found in that nearly intact tomb are part of this exhibition, including alabaster coffinettes, 6-foot-tall gilded wooden statues that guarded the tomb, and furniture for the boy king to use in the afterlife. But they are still only a fraction of the 5,000 treasures discovered almost a century ago, buried with King Tut.
And because of those 5,000 items that were found, he became an instant celebrity.
That celebrity grew to superstar status in the late 70s, when more than 8 million people viewed the first exhibition of Tutankhamun treasures to tour the United States. Tutmania swept America.
Now when he was a young man, he never thought he'd see people stand in line to see the boy king. King Tut.
The star of that exhibit in the 1970s was Tutankhamun's golden burial mask. That gold mask you don't have this time, do you?
No, it is too fragile, and Egypt doesn't let it outside of Egypt anymore. You have to go to Cairo to see that.
John Norman is in charge of packing and shipping the objects that are fit to travel. This is the heritage of Egypt. Is it a weight on your shoulders to be taking this around the world?
If I think too hard about that, it becomes a little daunting. You know, insurance value doesn't really mean anything because you can't replace.
Part of the proceeds from the exhibition will go to help complete the new Grand Egyptian Museum in Giza, which is intended to become King Tutankhamun's final resting place. These objects have left Egypt perhaps for the last time on this tour.
No artifact of King Tut will travel again. This is the last exhibit. If anyone in the future wants to see King Tut, he has to come to Egypt.